Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and this is the upcoming crowdfunding campaigns for the month of February. Now, we'll be diving into this shortly, as we normally do, with links and timestamps and everything down below, as there normally are, but there is one small difference, which is I'm filming this a bit earlier than I normally do, and with, frankly, less time in my week than I normally have, so I will be a little lighter on some of the information about the games that I don't already know things about. I do apologize this. Frankly, next week is a family vacation, followed directly by me going to Level Up Retreat, which means normally I film the upcoming crowdfunding campaigns like the night before or 2 nights before, and I'm filming this like 4 or 5 days before while trying to film 5 videos tonight and hopefully not go to bed at 4 in the morning before my trip, while also trying to timestamp, thumbnail, do all the various things, and then of course take care of my inbox, both personal and game fan, and all these various things. There's a lot to get to, so I do apologize that it will be a drop lighter on information, but that is a good segue for the fact that I usually start these off by telling you to go ahead and check out Shelf Clutter. Shelf Clutter over there, Adam from Shelf Clutter, he covers these campaigns on a weekly basis. If you are looking for, well, all the information I'm about to show you, but you're looking for it on a weekly basis with more up-to-date information without him skipping, actually, he is at Level Up Retreat, so he might skip some information this week, I don't entirely know. But either way, if you're checking it out, if you want the most up-to-date information with the updated cancellations, the postponements, the differences, all those various things, you can check out all of that over on Adam's channel. Highly recommend subscribing. He has the most up-to-date, and also, I frankly skip a lot of things in order to keep these videos at a manageable length. Well, 1, I talk really quickly, and 2, I try not to leave all the videos, all the possible games that could be out there in these. I try to cover the ones that I think are of the most interest to you. And with that, let's go ahead and start us off. Now that we covered all that, let's start us off over here with the first one, which is not even a February campaign. But there is a reason I'm talking about this. This is Altered, which is launching probably today. I think it's today. I think it's launching today. But the main reason I want to talk about this, because I'm pretty sure I mentioned it last month, is over on BGA, on Board Game Arena, they actually have an Altered, you can play through the starter decks of Altered. I've actually played them at Gen Con last year, but if you want to check them out on BGA, you can see what the game is about, see how it plays, so if you want to get a bit of a sense of that, I'll talk about Altered, which is technically a January campaign, but close enough. From there, let's go through the rest of these. These are mostly in order of when they are launching, not exactly. I don't have all the dates. Again, I'm a little lighter information this week, but from there, starting off over here with Draconicus, the fantasy board game. Gain control of the land, vanquish your foes, complete your quests. Draconicus is an exciting, fast-paced fantasy board game of quest, strategy, and adventure for 2 to 5 players. If it seems like this is one of those campaigns that I don't know a ton about, you're not wrong. This is Draconicus over here. 80 to 40 people following the campaign, enough so that it is here over here, but yeah, I don't have a ton of information on this actual game, but that's going to be Draconicus. Moving on over here, we have Elven Throne. Elven Throne is going to be coming to Kickstarter. This is about alliances and strategize your way to the throne in a game of actions and counteractions featuring 7 houses with unique powers. By the time this video goes up, I actually will know more information about this particular game, because I believe we are covering it on Board Game Co. as a preview, but that's going to be Elven Throne coming to Kickstarter shortly. Then we have over here Sunrise at the Studio, and Floriferous, and Snowfall over Mountains. I've actually played all 3 of these games. This is going to be coming to you from what's it called? From Edro Baraf over here, from Pencil First Games. And Sunrise at the Studio is going to be a new title from them, as is Snowfall over Mountains. Sunrise at the Studio basically has you trying to gather materials and use them to craft various objects in your studios. And then Floriferous is going to be a pocket edition of Floriferous, which already exists. And then Snowfall over Mountains is a solo game that has elements of Cascadia to it. If you've played Cascadia, it's going to be elements of where you have variable scoring cards and you're trying to draft different tiles that go towards your board and trying to optimize your score in a solo puzzle. That's going to be 3 games in 1 campaign. Then we have over here coming up past that, we have Trailblazer, the Arizona Trail. Starting on February 6th over here, this is continuing the Trailblazer series, a game that I have not had a chance to play. Trailblazer and Trailblazers came out at the same time, or same-ish time. I love Trailblazers, have not played Trailblazer. The art looks great, the game, I've heard good things about it, but I don't know more about it past that, but this is continuing that in a new setting. We have Sea Dragons going to be launched over here from Draco Studios. Sea Dragons is already published internationally. They are bringing it to the US over here. They're bringing the English version of the game. It's basically a polyomino placement game to an extent where you're playing these cards over here that are going to give you polyomino shaped dragons that go into the board, basically puzzling out an area control game. There's a bunch of things to be mindful of as far as the dragon placement, placing in extra dragons, trying to set yourself up that other dragons place next to you, trying to gather the various cards, trying to gather the various ships and cash them in for rewards, while being mindful of the extra costs you have to pay for rule pearls and crossing board edges, but also the area control puzzle that exists. A bunch of things to consider in Sea Dragons. Then we have over here, we have coming to Kickstarter February 6th, we have Nassau and Kathmandu, the next 2 in the Stefan Feld City collection of games. I don't actually know which ones these are. This is the problem. I forget at any given point which ones are which. Like, I've played a lot of Stefan Feld games. Most of those are being redone in the City Collection. I actually have Vienna behind me, which I just recently played. That's a re-implementation of Isla. I've played the the re-implementation, but I have not played the advanced version. I want to do so. Maybe I'll try to have coverage of... I have two of these. I have Vienna and I have Cusco. Cusco is from Bora Bora. I love Bora Bora, so I'm very excited to dive into Cusco. If I can make it work, I'll try to have coverage of both these games doing the campaign. Usually Queen Games does have the availability of getting their prior games. My general notes on the Queen Games re-implementation of Stefan Feld titles is they are very expensive, but they are also good ways of getting your hands on Stefan Feld titles that are otherwise hard to get. So I'm usually very mixed on these. I'm like, good games, but expensive. So live your best life, do what you want, and you know, whatever it is. Anyways, we have Triumph over here coming to you from Phalanx Games. This is going to be a sort of area control game as you expand the reach of Rome, helping the other players together. It's not a cooperative game, it's a competitive game, but you're all trying to collectively expand Rome while trying to make sure you have a stake in its influence. The game's going to play across 3 rounds. It has some element of area control over making sure you have as many points coming to you as possible, while some area of just cooperative fighting off the barbarian hordes, trying to tackle the generals, and trying to bid to take the right actions every single turn. Every single round across those 3 rounds, you're going to be locking in certain actions with your family cards. You have a certain number of cards. You're going to be bidding every round, trying to figure out where to place your bids to get the right actions in the right places. A fun little puzzle that's going to be Triumph over here. We have Thor's Cliff, the Battle for Thor's Cliff 2 over here. This is an expansion to Thor's Cliff, bringing you new chapters to the game, new characters, new cards. Thor's Cliff is kind of almost like a combination of an abstract game with a narrative aspect to it, a bunch of things going on in this. We will have preview content on the channel around Thor's Cliff. We have over here Aeon's End the Descent, coming to GameFound from Indie Boards and Cards. This is like the 8th Aeon's End campaign, I think, maybe the 7th, the 8th. This is a more Aeon's End content. In case you aren't familiar with it, Aeon's End is a cooperative deck building game that has dozens of expansions, dozens of arcs. It has a full legacy game, and the basic idea is you are building your decks from a fixed pool of cards. It's not a rotating card market. This is more like Dominion. You have a fixed card market and you're trying to take down the various boss. It also has the spin-off version, which is the more, darn it, what's it called? Not Aeon's End. It's the other one that I forget the name, but they have the shorter, more accessible version that is a spin-off iteration upon it. But Aeon's End over here, again, going strong with tons of campaigns, tons of content, and that's going to be more content to you coming to you soon. Then we have over here, we have Isla, which is, or Isla, is it Isla? I assume it's Isla. I've never actually known how to pronounce. We have those Islas. Like, I'm never sure if there's supposed to be a pronunciation that I'm missing on this. But this is going to be a roll and write game, I believe. A competitive roll and write game for 1 to 4 players. 621 followers. I don't even know if this is going to be a print and play or not. I'm not sure. Usually games like this are print and plays, but I got nothing on this. I got nothing. This is going to be coming to you from Ocean City Games. Have they done other campaigns? No, first created, so I got no clue. I assume it's a print and play, but I don't actually know. Then from here we have Conservas coming to you from Salt and Pepper Games. They have been doing their thing, and they've been doing consistently. Salt and Pepper Games continuing to bring you games. It's a 2-player game. Usually they're 2-player games. Is this 2 players? Tell me it's 2-player. You each begin with Season Boat. I don't actually know. We have a player count over here. I'm curious now if this is 2-player or not, because usually Salt and Pepper Games has been continuously offering these condensed packages of 2-player games that are head-to-head experience. Oh, actually, no, they have solo games. I don't know the player count. They have a variety of games that they've really been offering, just consistent small box games. They bring it to GameFound, then they bring it to retail, but they effectively are just giving you just solid strategy games, and they've been doing a great job so far. From the ones I've played, I've really enjoyed them. I actually have The Hunt over here, which I still need to play. I read the rules, but haven't played it yet. That's going to be Conservas coming to you from Salt and Pepper Games over on GameFound. We have Steam Power from Wallace Designs, another GameFound one over here. We have Martin Wallace bringing you Steam Power to your table, which seems to combine a few elements from different games. He almost has like the tile-laying mechanism from his Bloodstones, but combined with the general puzzle that he has in Steam and Realms of the World, in Age of Steam, and all of that. So Steam Power, continuing Martin Wallace, bringing that type of game. I believe this is a February title. I know they've actually danced around with a few things. Currently it says February, but those dates do change. That's why I recommend subscribing to Shelf Clutter in case you want the most updated information. I just give it to you once a month in general. But yeah, easy to learn, quick setup, immensely replayable. I'm very intrigued by this. I think Martin Wallace does phenomenal designs, and I really enjoyed Steam when I had it, and so I'm curious to see. I've played Age of Steam, I've played Realms of the World. I'm curious to see how Steam Power does, and whether it's one that's worth owning or not. I don't know. I mean, they have a bunch of great games. He's also the designer of Brass Birmingham, in case you missed that. Moving on over here, we have Everstone, Discovering Ignis. It's going to be launching February 13th over here. Everstone is a tableau building game which you're going to be basically powering yourself up in a dozen different ways. In the game, there's a degree of worker placement as you move your caravan across the board, trying to get a bit of a stake there. So a little bit of area control, a little bit of worker placement. Meanwhile, you're gathering cards, placing them under your board to upgrade your actions. There's 4 core actions in the game, and each of those actions, you're going to consistently be upgrading them up to a total of like 7 or 8 times, depends how you count it. You can have like a bunch of cards under your, you have I think 6 cards under each action, but you can also have a caravan above the action. Meanwhile, the action gets stronger if you don't have a card in the workshop. There's like tons of ways to power up what you're doing in the game as you go through it. That's going to be Everstone, Discovering Ignis. We have the Warpath coming to you from Manta Games over here. Warpath, the game of sci-fi mass. I know nothing about this one past the fact that it's going to be miniatures and launching February 14th. I'm intrigued. Manta Games is a lot of like IP stuff. I don't even know if this is an IP. I got nothing. I got nothing on this one. I'll be following along like the rest of you. We have a Dark Fantasy over here. Dark Fantasy board game Tainted Grail. I believe this is coming to GameFound. This was going to Kickstarter. This is porting over to GameFound. But Dark Fantasy Tainted Grail being made into a tabletop RPG. That's what we got. Tainted Grail, the RPG, coming to GameFound at some point in February. Then we have over here, we have Philharmonix, which I think I've mentioned like 2 or 3 times now. They keep pushing off the campaign, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time with this one. This is basically a 1 to 4 player worker placement game with a national space opera. I've played it. I'll have review coverage on spending less time in this one, not because I don't know about it, but because I think I've talked about it like for the past 3 months. Then we have Crown Battles over here. This is going to be another Kickstarter title over here. It's going to be, go prove your worth to the crown through challenging trick-taking and whatnot. This is a trick-taking experience for 2 to 8 players. Crown Battles coming to Kickstarter soon. Then we have Dante Inferno. Dante, this is actually, I think they recently renamed it. It was something else before. They shortened the name, but Dante Inferno from Creative Game Studios. It's going to be launching again, I believe, currently February 20th, if I'm not mistaken. But this is following the adventures of Dante across the, is it 7 battles of hell? I don't remember. 7 levels of hell? I don't remember exactly. But either way, this is going to be a boss battling experience, which is going to be divided into 2 arcs. You're going to have a narrative arc where you make choices as a team as you wander your caravan and make certain tests, and all that will carry over into the actual battle phase where you'll face off against, the current boss that you're facing off against. I only have access to the first boss in the game, but so far I've really been enjoying the game, both in terms of the caravan and in terms of the actual, the actual fighting phase and the boss battler. This is an enjoyable game that I do recommend keeping your eye out for. People who have covered this generally have seemed to like it. Like, I'm always wary if it's just me, but so far feedback on this one has been very positive. That's going to be Dante the Inferno. Then we have Forgeflame, another February 20th campaign. Forgeflame is going to have you controlling various characters as you play different cards. You're going to be basically building a deck of 3 heroes, characters, whatever you want to call it, and then those characters are going to be wandering off into the mine to gather various ore in the mine to be able to turn that into these various relics you're crafting while being mindful of what actions you take and the unique card deck you have. It's, I think, almost a degree of Super Fantasy Brawl in this in terms of the way you're making up a unique team, but then also just trying to gather various resources and not actually hitting each other to death, although you can stun each other, causing people to like drop their gems or be immovable, things like that. That's going to be Forgeflame launching February 20th. We have Black Rose Wars Rebirth, Enter the Lodge. This is going to be Nova Eidos. This is going to be Luz Magna Studios doing something similar to what they did to the Nova Eidos campaign. They're doing kind of a last chance campaign over here. This is your last chance to get in on this before it delivers. So I assume similar to Nova Eidos, I assume the prices will be a little higher. I don't know for sure. Last chance, only 1,000 bundles available. So again, similar to what they did in Nova Eidos, they have 1,000 extra pledges. Some of them are going to be going to the web store. The others, you have a chance to go ahead and get these now. So if you missed the Rebirth campaign and you want in on this is your opportunity to do so at a likely higher price than the original campaign and a likely lower price than the web store availability. So they have all of that. The bundle includes everything over here: Fallen Expansions, Rhodas, Apocalypse, Dreadforge, Gaia Reborn, all these things. Very simple, straightforward, although it's €400, so there is that aspect. You want to be mindful of that. They will have stretch pay again, which is, makes sense, although that L needs another L over there. That installments. Actually, fun fact, installments. Actually, I learned this because I work for GameFound. Disclaimer, by the way, I do work for GameFound. Take that into account. But that installments over there, working with an international company, I've actually realized installments is sometimes spelled with an L, sometimes without. I'm Canadian, so some words I'm used to having different spellings, but installments I always spelled with 2 L's. So fun fact, that's actually not misspelled. That's just me assuming it's misspelled and then forgetting that it's spelled both ways. The more you know. Moving on over here, we have Dying Light the board game coming to you from Glass Cannon Unplugged, who famously have brought you Frostpunk, and then they also have Apex Legends. Apex Legends coming as well, but we have Dying Light the board game. This is going to be, I assume it's a cooperative game. I actually don't even know. It's a fast-paced, dice-rolling, combo-making, visually stunning adaptation of the blockbuster video games. I mean, it's a Dying Light, the board game. It looks like they're leaning into that, 3D terrain elements that they had in Apex Legends. You can check out, there's more pictures are available on Facebook, or not Facebook, maybe the Facebook page, maybe it's Board Game Geek, I don't know. But Dying Light the board game coming to you from Glass Cannon Unplugged. Very intrigued as to what the gameplay will actually be like on this one, but intrigued does not a board game make. We'll find out more information. I do believe I will be covering it. I'm not 100% certain, but Dying Light the board game. Then we have FLOE. FLOE coming to 27th of February, coming to you from Henry Audubon from FLOE, which is the subsidiary company of Fantasia Games. I will have coverage for you on this game. I just need to get through the rulebook because I printed it out the other day, and did I tell you I'm trying to get a lot of work done before a trip where I'm gone for 9 days? This is the longest I will have ever been gone from my house in my entire life. My entire life, the longest I've done 7 days, and that was a long time. This is going to be 9 days away. There's so much. I have a laptop, like I can do things remotely, but not the same. I can't film videos. Whatever. FLOE. I'll play FLOE. I will cover FLOE later, but not this second. Coming to you February 27th, so I got time. Then we have over here, we have Inferno Deluxe Edition from Red Mojo Games. This is another Dante game over here. In fact, I think GameFound actually has like 3, I think they have like 2 Dantes and 2 Infernos, if I'm not mistaken. They have a bunch of these, like, 7 levels of health things going on at the moment. But currently Inferno, 9,000 people following. Red Mojo Games, who brought you Tindaya, which I really need to play, but it's going to be following you as you go through these 7 levels of hell. I have not played this one yet. I will be doing so. I will have coverage for you. I do believe that Board Game Dave, fantastic channel, does have coverage on the game. Well thought out coverage covering both the positive and the negative. So if you want to get some opinions now, you can go ahead and check that out, well, now. Or if you want to wait, I will have stuff for you later. But it's going to be I believe it's more of a Euro game as opposed to, less of the boss battler Inferno. This is more the Euro side. So kind of leaning into, if you want the theme, GameFound's got you covered for different types of games for this over here. Oh, we got a few things. We got, we got them as well. So more than just, we also have them. Oh my gosh, Inspire to Game, Love to Hate. I think it's Love to Hate. I think it's named like them. And Beastie Geeks has coverage. So a lot of people over here. But either way, that's going to be Inferno. Go ahead and check that out as well. Then we have coming up next, we have the Ostia Pirates expansion. Ostia is going to be the Mancala-ish. I believe it's compared to Trajan a lot from Stefan Feld. I have not played it, but I actually, again, I will have coverage for these campaigns. I think I say yes to too many things. I think I'm optimistic. I'm eternally optimistic. Also, when it comes to board games, my eyes are bigger than my stomachs. But I'm realizing I say yes to too many things. But Ostia, I will be playing Ostia, and then I'll be playing the Ostia Pirates expansion, so that I have coverage for you. I believe this is going to be February 27th. I think it might be February 20th. But either way, Ostia coming to Kickstarter with a reprint and expansion, Ostia Pirates. Then we have Guns of the Old West from Wolfstone Entertainment. This is going to be launching in basically a month, towards the end of February over here. Guns of the Old West, I think I actually talked about this when they pushed off their campaign, so again, I won't go heavily into this one. But Guns of the Old West, a giant skirmish game. We're playing, I think, like 2 to 8 players as you take down control of a ton of factions and fight each other in this giant skirmish game. That's going to be Guns of the Old West. Then we have over here, we have coming to Kickstarter on, I think, February 20th, so already some of these are a little bit out of order, I apologize. But we have Zombie Horde coming to you from Dark Gate Games. They have brought you, well, they brought you Dark something. Darn it, I'm forgetting the names. Dark Rituals. And then they brought you the Neomorphosis Infestation, which that one looks very cool. I want to play that one. I haven't even seen reviews on that one, so I'm curious how that is. But they have the Zombie Horror coming to Kickstarter, which I might have coverage on. This cooperative assemble a crew of survivors and endure the aftermath of a zombie apocalypse together. And once again, probably covering it. Thunder Road Vendetta. This is going to be coming back to Kickstarter as well in Q1 2024. I believe it's currently slated for February. It might not be a February campaign, so we'll see. But Thunder Road Vendetta, the Carnival of Chaos, coming back to Kickstarter. This is basically a paycheck waiting to happen because Thunder Road Vendetta has been incredibly well received from people who have played the game. I have not played it. I need to play it. That's going to be Thunder Road. Currently 5,000 people following this one. They're back, bigger, badder, and deadlier with Carnival of Chaos. For those who don't know, this is basically a game where you're on a map and you explode things as you race. So you're racing with helicopters and motorcycles and exploding cars and vehicles and trucks and all those things. Lots of goodness in terms of the exploding range. I am curious how I'll like this one. There have been a lot of these racing fighting games that I've played, and I usually enjoy them, and I usually don't pull them out and play. I've noticed more and more. Like, I'll play them, I'll be like, this is fun, and I genuinely enjoy them, have a good time. But when it comes time to pull a game off the shelf, I'm usually going for that dungeon crawler or that Euro game. These racing fighting games don't actually get picked. I'm curious whether Thunder Road Vendetta would be different in that category. Over here we have Vampire the Chapters, the definitive edition, coming to Kickstarter over here. Vampire Chapters, again, I will have coverage on this one. Fortunately, unlike the rest of these things, I've already played this. I'm already ready, good to go on coverage, so we will. This one we're good. This one's not an optimism thing. This is happening already. But Vampire Chapters, Vampire the Masquerade Chapters from FLOE Games is going to be coming back to Kickstarter with a definitive edition, which is going to be giving you. There's a few ways to get this game. There's going to be a way to get the game at a cheaper price point, but with the other digital stuff instead of physical stuff. There's going to be a way to get all the stuff reprinted. They have had some issues with errata and notes and changes and all that, which is it is what it is. But yeah, Vampire the Masquerade Chapters. This is a more of an RPG in a box. That's basically what the game is. As you take control of various characters, test your attributes, level up, add points into various stats, and buff yourself up across the course of the game while engaging in combat when relevant as well. That's going to be Vampire the Masquerade Chapters Definitive Edition coming from FLOE Games shortly. Then we have over here, we have Board Quest Tales of Lyria. I don't know anything about this game, but it is showing 6 people following. It's usually enough for me to talk about it. We have a competitive fantasy strategy board game, easy to learn, quick setup, hard to master, 1 to 4 players, 30 minutes per player, 35 minutes, 35 minis, and solo mode. Yeah, coming soon. Then we have over here, I'm realizing now, yeah, but anyways, then we have over here, we have The Presence. The Presence is going to be coming to Kickstarter, 1,800 people following this one in this semi-cooperative experience in which you're basically going to be, semi-cooperative experience in which one player is taking control of like the darkness, the haunting, the demon, whatever it is, or possibly there may or may not be one, as players wander around this house in the presence. Then we have over here coming up, we have Northwest Passage, HMS Terror Edition, Expedition Northwest Passage coming back to, was it on crowdfunding originally? I don't even remember, but February 27th on Kickstarter. This one's been out for quite some time, if I'm not mistaken. Don't know much about the game, never played it, but that's going to be, I mean, yeah, it's an older, I'm pretty sure it's an older title. I think. Pre-stretch. This is going to be coming to Kickstarter February 27th. Then we have over here, we have Rocket Ranchers over here. Herding cats in space. This one, I don't know anything about this. I've been seeing ads on Facebook all the time. It looks great. Grid drafting, set collection card game for 1 to 6 players. It's got great art. It looks like a fun game. It could be a complete not-for-me game. These types of titles are always interesting, but I will say, I'm very much in the camp that we buy with our eyes, and this has looked great for me. Every ad I've seen has made me want to play the game. Whether or not I enjoy it, no idea, but I certainly want to table this one. That's going to be Rocket Ranchers coming to Kickstarter, well, February late-ish, sometime. Then we have over here, we have card game. We have Chroma Arcana, the tactical card game of dueling. Don't know a lot about this one, unfortunately. And then lastly, we have the Thinning Veil, Cormac Mark Ed on the other side of midnight. I believe I talked about this last month. I think they're aiming for February at this point. This is going to be a solo world crawler. It's a dungeon crawler, but it's a world crawler. A solo dungeon crawler adventure game set in the world of the Thinning Veil, which tried launching a few times, unfortunately didn't fund. They're coming back with their own smaller solo-ish game, whatever it is. That's going to be Cormac McGarr on the other side of midnight. Again, such a name, but a game in the Thinning Veil universe. And that is basically what we have for February. February is a happening month. That is a lot of things, by the way. That's like if I have to pick my pick of the month, what am I even the most interested in? Let's take a look over here and rattle through some things as we try to figure out what I'm most interested in here. Because there's a bunch of campaigns I'm very interested in, but let's try to pick some like picks of the month. Okay, I'm always interested in these, but those are always tough. We have Thor's Cliff, we have Aeon's End, we have Isla, we have Conservas. Oh, Dante's almost for sure. Steam Power and Dante are going to be up there. But what else is there? Not so much RPGs, Crown Battles. Dante's going to be there. Forgeflame, no. Black Rose, Dying Light, FLOE. Oh, FLOE. Okay, I've had to pick 3. We're going to go with FLOE, Dante, and what was the other one I said? I just said a second ago. Oh, Thunder Road Vendetta. Let's go with FLOE, Dante, and Thunder Road Vendetta. And I already forgot the other one that I just was excited about a second ago. But that is what it is. And in any case, and until next time, I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Once again, I apologize for the less information about some of these games. I both wanted to talk about them, include them, so you know that they exist in case you're interested, while also acknowledging that at a certain point my bandwidth only stretched so far, and I just didn't have the time to research the additional games. I apologize for that, but we'll be doing our best next month with more of that information for you. And until next time, there's always shelf clutter. In any case, have a good one.